I'm Anna.
And I'm Emily, and we're the hosts of Terribly Famous, a new podcast from Wondery.
From Adele to Victoria Beckham and Lily Allen, we take you inside the drama-filled lives of our most talked-about celebrities to find out what it's like to walk in their shoes.
She means their beautiful Prada shoes.
Listen to Terribly Famous wherever you get your podcasts.
Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens? Happens. Happens. Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens? Watch what happens. Watch what happens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that happens?
Hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens, a podcast about all that crap on Bravo that we just love to talk about. I'm Ben Mandelker. Joining me today is the wonderful and hilarious Mr. Ronnie Karam. Hi, Ronnie. How's it going?
Hi, good. Part 2, Below Deck Down Under.
Yes. So we're recapping episode 7 of Below Deck. This is a pretty serious episode. It's a very serious and pretty intense episode of Below Deck. Probably one of the most intense ones, if not the most intense one I feel like I've ever seen, and it was really, really, really powerful. So we're going to recap that shortly. Just a reminder, every other week, it's essentially the first and the third of the month, on Mondays at 5:30 p.m. Pacific, we are doing Crappy Hour, which is basically our call-in show on Instagram Live. So go follow us on Watch What Crappens, at Watch What Crappens, and at Ronnie Karam, and at Ben Mandelker on Instagram, so you can participate in that. I'm sure people will probably have a lot to say about this very episode on our next one, which is going to be in 2 weeks. We just did the first one, so it's up there on Instagram right now. So go check that out. And be sure to check out our videos on Patreon, patreon.com/watchwhatcrappens. Videos go up there first for a week, and then they go up to YouTube. So support there. So anyway, we just finished recapping episode 6 of this double
So it was intense.
episode.
So I was watching this on Peacock, so it was automatically divided for me, these episodes. And I guess you watched on Bravo, so they had them sort of shoved together.
Yes.
But this new episode, we've just seen all of this like assaulty crap happened with Luke, which was really disturbing. The producers had to force Luke to leave Margot's room when he was getting into her bed naked during a blackout. Okay, so that's what's just happened. So that show's ended. Then the next show starts, and we get a close-up of 2 jellyfish swimming next to each other gorgeously, and it just stays on them, and they're like pulsing, because those fish are fucking beautiful, right? And so they're just like pulsating, and then it goes boom. Below Deck Down Under. It's like, yes, jellyfish.
Establishing the tone with jellyfish.
I love that they were like, let's get the most dramatic B-roll we've got. All right. Did we already use the old lady eel that's pissed off about people being on her lawn? All right. Find something. They're like, we've got this jellyfish action.
Yes. So Luke has basically just been kicked out of Margot's room. He crawled into her bed naked while she was trying to sleep. And after not only she said no, but also Aisha and Zarina told him not to go in there. And now the producers have said don't go in there. And he slammed the doors on the producers, fully naked, finally out of there. And now he's gone into his bedroom. So Laura, of course, the great addition here, she goes to Luke's room and is like, Luke, what did you do, Luke? What did you do? And he's like, oh, get out of here. He's like, slams the door on the camera because the camera's followed her in there. And so then she goes in. She goes like, honey, what happened, Luke? What happened to you, poor sweet Luke?
And he's like, nothing, fuck them. It's just, what did you do? And he goes, I didn't do anything. I was just sitting there. Fucking hell, mate. You were just sitting there. You were naked in her bed in a blackout when she was passed out, you drunk fuck. Like, what the hell?
Exactly. And by the way, let's not act like this is the first time this has probably happened with Luke. Based on the way he planted that kiss on Margot that first night that they met, like, this is not someone who respects anyone's personal boundaries. So Laura's like, I understand, but let's go out. And he's like, oh, I don't care. You can't. I'm not going out. So now Aisha goes to check on Margot. And Margot's like, I'm okay. Because Margot's like, she's out of it. Like, she's wasted. She doesn't really know what's going on.
And Aisha's like, well, we had a power shortage, and I turn around and I don't even want to do her voice. So she's like, listen, we just had a power shortage. I turn around and the producers are screaming, get out, get out. And Luke is coming out of your room naked. And she's like, what? He was naked? Gross. And she goes, yeah. Did you consent to him being in here? And she's like, no, I was asleep. I did not invite that. And she's like, yeah, that's why I'm not comfortable leaving you here. Like, this is bullshit, you know? And she gets into bed with her. She's like, I'm not leaving you in here. Like, God knows what that fucking guy is going to do, you know?
Yeah. It was just a lovely gesture that she just gets in, and she's like with her stew, and she's like, I'm not having any of this shit. And Margot's like, I don't even know. Like, you can see like Margot, like it's starting to really dawn on Margot a little bit, but as much as it can be while she's wasted. And then meanwhile, upstairs, we're in the hot tub, and Laura gets in, and this is like watching this. It's like you're dumbfounded because we have a situation of a complete violation of consent. And then upstairs, we now have Laura getting into the hot tub with Adam and being like, hey, Adam, I have no bikini on. And he has like said so many times, no, I just want to be friends. And then this is happening upstairs. And I was like, what is happening on this boat?
Well, especially that she saw it. She basically knows what happened downstairs. Like, she knows, you know, she knows the gist of it. She knows that the producers had to come and intervene in a way that he's pissed and naked in his room. So she knows that much. She knows that something bad happened with that. And it doesn't affect her at all. She's just like, I'm just going to do the same shit to somebody else, you know? Now, obviously, the difference is Adam isn't blackout drunk, but still, she's fucking disgusting. And Serena's like, you know, this girl's not taking the hint. It's like, girl, get some dignity, you know? And Laura's like, don't worry, we're not going to have sexual until charts are over. And Adam's like, oh, God, you're getting a no, honey. You're getting a no, homie. So
and then we see downstairs, he's so drunk he can't even get into his bed, which really, it just shows that, like, if the producers had not intervened, we don't really know what Luke would have done. And I don't believe it would have been anything good, because this was someone so wasted that he doesn't have control of his body enough to get into bed. So I don't think that he would have the control to have restraint and say, like, I shouldn't cross any lines, even though he's already crossed the line of being in bed naked with her.
So then Luke is still trying to get into the bed, and then upstairs Laura is hanging on Adam and like kissing his neck, and everyone's kind of grossed out by her. And she's like, we're not sexual, right? Only friend. And he's like, oh my God, watch yourself, stop it. And he gets up to sit on the ledge to get away from her.
Yeah.
And then we cut to Aisha telling Serena what happened with Luke, and Culver goes to bed. He's trying to go to bed, but Luke has locked the door to keep the producers out. Like, they're not trying to just like disturb you. They were trying to disturb you in the middle of assaulting someone. You fucking
God forbid his boundaries get crossed. Like his like, you know, like, oh, he can lock his door, you know, and like he has a right to have privacy in his mind, and yet he can also like go climb naked into a woman's bed, a woman who he went and like just kissed on the first night when there was no indication that she even like was down with that either. So now Harry, so when we're back in the hot tub, you have Harry, you've got Laura, and you have Adam. And Harry's like, well, I think I'm gonna go to bed. And Ham's like, yeah, I'm gonna go too. And Laura goes, oh, now it's time for a massage then. He's like, no.
Yeah, because Adam even goes, yeah, if you're going to go to bed, Harry, I'm going to go to bed, okay? Because I'm only out here because of you, bro, to be honest. Like, I'm only sitting right here because I want to talk to you. And Laura's like, okay, time for a massage. It's like, ugh, gross. He's like, come on. And she goes, no sexual, I promise. And he's like, okay, you promise then? Okay. So he gets out and he's like, I'm locking the door. But he doesn't. And Harry's like, if you're locking the door, I'm going to come now. So Adam's like, she's not getting the point, so I don't know what to do, because she's got to stop that shit, because, like, we work together. So she follows him into the room, and he's like, oh, my fucking God with you. You're not staying here. She goes, no, I'm not. He goes, I'm going to kick your ass out. So he gets into the top bunk, and she's like, oh, no, you are up there. It's so hard up there.
You know that down in the reef, that moray eel is like, bitch. That moray is like, I've seen her before, bitch. So Adam is like, he's up there, And she's like, but can you come down? And he's like, no, that's Harry's bed. She's like, you can't come down. Because she's like trying so hard to create the situation, right? And Adam was like, he's like not allowing it. And then he's like, you know what? This is a bad idea. We shouldn't be doing this anyway. But she's like, no. So she crawls up onto the bed and starts like squeezing the lotion on his back. And then finally the cameraman was like, hey, Laura, I got a message from the producers and you have to come down. She's like, okay, I'm coming. But she doesn't come down.
Yeah. And they're like, no, seriously, you need to get down right now and go to your own cabin. And she's like, okay, I'm coming. And then she keeps massaging. And then she like leans down and starts kissing his neck. And the producer's like, now, Laura. And she's like, I'm coming. So Harry goes to bed now, and there's drama music, and we see Luke and Laura. They show us in one camera Luke, and then in another camera Laura, and then under them a reef shark. I was like, okay.
Way to make the reef shark look like the actual like decent person here.
I know. Yeah, I know that the reef shark has some issues, but we don't know that the reef shark did anything comparable to what these fuckers just did. No. Like, can we leave the reef shark out of it? Okay.
The reef shark is like, I actually just went through some training, and I would never do these things.
Right.
So now Aisha goes and knocks on Captain Jason's door, which was like this was also impressive that she didn't wait till the morning. She just told him right away. So she's crying, and he's like very alarmed. He's like asking what's wrong, and she's like, I need to tell you about something that happened tonight. And she tells a story. She says, basically we came home tonight, and I felt like Luke was wanting to take advantage of Margot's drunkenness, and she was pretty out of it. And next thing I know, the power goes out, and Luke is running out of Margot's bed naked, and she was completely unconscious.
And he's like, did anything happen? Is she safe? And she's like, well, now he's freaked out because he got caught. So he locked himself in his room. And now Culver's locked out of his room. And she's just crying, you know?
Yeah. And he's hugging her. It was like really, I was like, oh God. And I was like crying. I'm watching this. I'm crying. Yeah. And, you know, Aisha's just saying, I feel like a lot of women have had a history with things like this happening a lot. And it stresses me out if I ever see anyone taken advantage of.
Because she called that shit right when it was going down. You know, and she had also been with him when he was saying, oh, yeah, you know, I shouldn't have fucked that girl, but it's not my fault because I was drunk. So I didn't even know what I was doing. So she already knows that he's one of those who's going to like use that as an excuse, you know, and get all assaulty, which is exactly what he fucking did. Then she saw it in the van on the way over with him staring into her face all low and like trying to get consent in front of people by saying, oh yeah, you want me to come tuck you in later? Yeah. I mean, just fucking disgusting. And she spotted that and she stayed on it the whole night. I was like,
it was standing ovation.
That is fucking impressive. And I really hope that makes things change.
Yeah, and she wasn't scared of like repercussions or like upsetting him or anything. She was like, no, this is wrong. And she says that like, you know, that it made her skin crawl. And she's like, you don't have the right to put someone unconscious into that position. And she says, I've had a drunken sexual assault experience before, and I never want that to happen to anyone else. And Margot's like a sweet angel. And the thought of her, of him violating her or being in her space just makes me feel sick.
Yeah. So then Jason's like, well, he's getting the fuck off the boat. You know, this isn't happening on my watch. So he marches down, he gets a key, and he goes to the room, and he's like, get up. It's time to go, you know, and he kicks his ass off the boat. He's like, you're going to a hotel. And Luke's like, I don't need a hotel. And he's like, come on, you're going. And get your fucking Harry Styles pearl necklace ass down here, you know?
I loved it. Jason just went in there and he was like, this is not a thing like we're going to wait till the morning. He was like, you are not even spending another extra second on this boat, you know, more than you need to be. You are getting off of here right now, because now all the women are freaked out, by the way. And, you know, and Zarina is comforting Aisha because Aisha's fully rattled. And she just explained, you know, like how she's been through a similar experience. So this is probably drudging up all sorts of terrible emotions for Aisha.
Yep. And so now it's the morning and Laura's opening a beer because Laura, a fucking course, right? So Culver goes to Luke's room and he's gone. So they don't really know what's happened yet. And Margot is talking to Laura and Laura's like, oh my God, I'm so happy. I feel great. And Margot's like, wow, lucky you. And then they're in their cabin, and Laura just passes her and goes into the bathroom and just chugs the beer in the dark, not realizing there's a camera that she's doing it right into. I mean, this fucking idiot. So then Margot's like, so what exactly happened after dinner? Because Luke got into my bed naked, and that's weird. And Laura's like, what's his dick standing?
Were you lucky enough to have his dick standing? And Margot's like, I don't remember. And Zarina's saying that she does not feel comfortable having Luke right across the hallway, you know? And it's just like, yeah, you don't fucking go into a coma girl's room naked. And so Laura's like, oh no, you think that he's in trouble? I'm like, God, Laura. Like,
the amount of suckage in her personality is shocking, because she even prepares you. She's like, I'm the villain of this show. I'm going to be an asshole. I'm going to make every terrible decision I can, and I'm going to do every wrong fucking thing I can.
Right.
And she still manages to shock you. It's amazing. Her assholery is astounding. I mean,
but also like
credit's due. Wow.
But she also
you shocked even me.
Yeah, exactly. But she also represents in many ways like the insidiousness of the patriarchy. And I know when you say the patriarchy, it just sounds so dramatic, but it really is true. Like, as she is, as we see, she like is someone who defends Luke, and it's like absolutely repulsive. And we're seeing the glimmers of it here. So Margot is now texting her mom and her sister that she needs to talk with them. And then Jason's telling Aisha that Luke has been kicked off the boat. And then the Deckies are sort of like, they don't know where Luke is, and they're just sort of like bumbling about because they're like, well, what do we do? Like, should we start doing things? Like, where's Luke? So like they sense that something is awry as well.
So then so Aisha has the stews now, right? So Laura sees Margot and Aisha standing there, and she comes in. She's like, good morning. I feel fresh as fuck. And Margot's like,
which, by the way, I'm sorry to interrupt. What was this all about? Was this her way of countering that yesterday she said she was so tired? Was she trying to recalibrate from that? Because what was that all about? She was really trying to sell that she was awake.
I think that she's drunk. I mean, she's just drinking. I don't think she's just drunk. Like, she's just walking around drunk saying, like, I'm feeling great. It's a great morning and everything's totally normal with me, when she's fucking plastering herself still in the morning, you know? And so Margot's like, so what happened last night? And Aisha's like, well, basically, and then she just looks at Laura, who's preening. She's like, I feel great. And she's like, do you mind if I talk to Margot by myself? You can start with cabins. And so she sends her away. And meanwhile, Jason calls up Culver and tells him to take over for the morning, and he'll tell him what happened later. Yeah. And so then Serena comes with Margot and Aisha to talk in the cabin about, and so Aisha's like, okay, so basically last night I had a feeling about Luke, an off feeling, and that's why I wanted to stay with you. So then I go make noodles for 1 minute, and next thing I know, the producers are knocking on your door going, no, no, no. And Luke is in your bed naked, you know? And so next thing I know, he's like coming out of there naked. And Margot is like, you just see the look on her face. Like, how long was he in there? Like, what happened in there, you know?
And the fear of like knowing like how close it could have been to such a worse situation of like what could have happened if there had been no producers, if there hadn't been a TV show, like you can just sort of see all the things running through her mind of like the other time she's gotten drunk, and like, wow, like you just sort of see her world changing in that moment, and it's like you're sort of getting chills watching it.
So she's like, yeah, you know, I woke up feeling weird, and I knew whatever happened wasn't okay, but then I'm like, oh God, he's still here, so I have to act cool. So I'm glad he's not here, you know, because that would have been hard. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I feel so stupid. And Serena's like, you shouldn't feel stupid. He feels stupid. And she's like, yeah, but I was drunk. And she's like, yeah, well, women should be able to be fucking blackout drunk. Mm-hmm. Like, a woman should be able to stand up naked, blackout drunk, and not be afraid someone's going to do something to her. Like, you're allowed to be drunk. That's the other person's problem. And I cheered.
That was like such a powerful moment.
Yes.
And then the three of them hug. It was so powerful. It was like a really wonderful moment. And I was so glad that was articulated, not only just to Margot, because I think it was important for Margot to hear that, but I was glad that it was put on the air. Not that it wouldn't be put on the air, but I'm glad it was spoken on this show. That was such a powerful moment, and the three of them hugging together. And I really like, it just, I don't know, like it gave me chills. So now Margot goes to the bathroom and she's going, I think this is when she's calling her speaking to her mom and her sister. And she's saying to us that she's feeling disappointed in herself. She's embarrassed, she's sad, and she's shocked. And she's like processing. But she also feels loved. But then when she's talking to her sister and her mom, she's talking about how she's just like so grossed out and she feels really stupid. And she's like, I probably was being too flirty, which is like the shame, that's the emotional toll that she has to take on, and like as so many people do in these situations. And her mom and her sister are like outraged, and they're like, it's not your fault. But it's like, it's heartbreaking to watch her feel these things when she did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Ronnie and Ben here. This segment of Watch What Crappens is brought to you by Audible's new music competition podcast, Breakthrough.
It's like changing the game for audio-only series by being the first of its kind. And by stripping away the superficial, the series is like really reaffirming what matters most, which is pure talent. So, what do you get when you throw a real housewife, a freelance songwriter, and an auto-tune producer in a recording studio?
Well, thanks to Extreme Autotune, you get a bop that Bravo fans will be pumping up on their playlist for years to come. To name a few, Sheena Shea from Vanderpump Rules has Good as Gold, Kim Zolciak-Biermann from Real Housewives of Atlanta has Tardy for the Party, and Melissa Gorga from Jersey has On Display. Whoa, 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 the ring doesn't mean a thing. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay, well, maybe we should leave the real singing to the professionals, like the talent in Audible's new podcast series, Breakthrough. Ronnie and I have been binging this singing competition contest, and the singing and songwriting on it has been next level stellar.
1,000%. And the finale brought us to tears. So many emotions. We're just completely blown away by all these 5 artists and their raw talent.
Yeah, and it's like really cool. They all have different personal and musical backgrounds. Like there's country, there's Caribbean, there's Cuban, and their backgrounds just like they really shine through during these songwriting challenges.
It's been incredible to witness them dig deep and push themselves to the next level, because the coaches really aren't just there to say like, you're good, or, that was pitchy. They're really trying to develop them and their voice into their own artistic creation. It's pretty cool.
Oh my God. Check it out yourself. You can listen and catch up on the latest episodes on Audible or wherever you get your podcast.
Go to audible.com/crappens. That's audible.com/crappens.
If you're hiring, it's incredibly hard to attract top talent. And with the current labor market conditions, it's even harder than ever. That's why you want a partner who gets it. ZipRecruiter.
You know who knows how tough it is right now? ZipRecruiter does. But guess what? They figured out solutions for the problems that you're facing.
See for yourself. Right now, you can try them for free at ZipRecruiter.com/crappens.
ZipRecruiter is ready to tackle your recruiting challenges.
Yeah, to reach more of the right people, ZipRecruiter posts your job to over 100 job sites.
And listen, the pricing at ZipRecruiter is straightforward. There are no surprise costs.
Yeah, want first dibs on talent? ZipRecruiter lets you invite the most qualified people to apply for your job.
Team up with a hiring partner who understands what you need. ZipRecruiter.
4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day.
Just go to this exclusive web address to try ZipRecruiter for free. ZipRecruiter.com/crappens.
Again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/crappens.
ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. So the Deckies are still looking for Luke, and so there's a crew meeting called in the main salon. So they all gather, and Laura still walks right up and tries to fucking cuddle with Adam. I'm so fucking sick of this. I wish they would just fire her on the spot. Like,
I know.
She just gets more disgusting with every fucking shot of her. I can't.
It's disgusting. And I was laughing uncomfortably while I was watching it, being like, I can't believe this woman is continuing to sexually harass Adam at a consent meeting. And she doesn't know it's a consent meeting, but only Bravo would serve us this fucked up situation, So she's all up on him. And
he's like, get off of me. She's I'm sorry, I'm just feeling really good. I'm working on it. And she pats his upper thigh. She's fucking disgusting. So then the captain is like, listen, we're bringing Luke on. He's going to collect his fucking Harry Styles pearl necklaces, which, by the way, when you see a fucking guy wearing one of those, stay away from him. Have we ever seen a good one? The last one on Bravo was Corey fucking Kiefer, that piece of shit. Okay, so when you see that and it's not on Harry Styles, walk away. Just walk away. Okay,
just walk away.
Consider that your warning sign.
pearl necklaces. Just go. So Jason's like, basically, I've told Luke he's going to be gathering his items. We're going to terminate his employment. We had an incident last night, and I want to stress that this is a place where we respect each other. Our cabin is our safety zone. The door is our boundary. That door is not to be opened unless it's consensual. To walk into someone else's room without consent, that is my limit. And Culver is like, holy shit, that's insane. I have a little sister. I would kill somebody if she was in that situation. And I mean, I appreciate his sentiment. I think that we've learned that, like, you should, whether or not you have a little sister, you should still want to kill someone in that situation, metaphorically. So I know
but he's just identifying with the protective feeling, you know? And so Laura's like, are we allowed to say goodbye? I was like, oh my God, really?
To your career? I think that will be happening.
Wow. He just announced to the entire room that Luke violated consent and is getting fired, and you're pouting about it in front of the fucking captain, especially? Like, what the fuck, dude? And he goes, no. And she goes, copy. Copy.
So now the minivan shows up and Luke gets out, and Jason just takes Luke down to the crew mess. He doesn't even like let him come into the salon. He doesn't give doesn't give Luke a moment to like apologize or really say anything. And Luke is then doing this bullshit thing. Was like, well, I don't really know what happened, which is eating me up a little bit. No, you don't get to be eaten up a little bit by this.
So the captain's like, well, last night boundaries were crossed and you went into someone else's cabin. And he goes, and I was naked. Yeah, Luke. Shocker, isn't it?
Yeah.
Shocker, isn't it, Luke? You can't remember, huh? And he goes, yeah, and I have nothing to do but terminate your employment. And he goes, okay, well, I can understand that. And he goes, so get your stuff. So to his credit, he just keeps his fucking mouth shut.
He does.
You know?
He knows. He keeps his mouth shut. He just does what he has to do. He doesn't protest. He doesn't push back. And Zarina's up there being like, why don't they just shove his stuff in bin bags, leave it on the dock? Which I agree. I don't even think you should. I'd say throw it down there, give it to the Moray eel. So then Laura, everyone's just sitting there awkwardly, but Laura's like really sad. She's continuing to pout over this fucking, attempted rapist, basically. And Harry's like, oh, I feel really bad for Margot. We got to care for her the next few days. I'm like, yeah, you should. But also, like, you two get out of her face a little bit. Give her some space.
Well, I like that, though, because she goes, I'm sad, and goes, you're sad that he's leaving? I feel bad for Margot, not him, And so Lucas tells the captain, I'm so sorry, I'm just so disappointed in myself. And they all watch him leave.
Jason just goes, yeah.
Yeah. What do you want? And so Adam's like, fuck that kid. And he goes, you do something like that, you lose respect. You're a piece of shit to me now, all right? Even more than Goofy. With the fucking weird language. So then the captain's like, okay, guys, boundaries, it's very simple. Don't cross them, male or female. He's like, we need this place cleaned up. Now, Culver, you step in and we'll get someone in. And so he's like, we should be able to do this, right? So, okay, we're already one employee down. So let's see how much worse we can make this.
Yeah.
So
now, Laura, so now Laura, this is after the meeting, Laura is like crying. Okay. And she's like, I am so sad. I can't believe Luke is gone. And Margot is like, you're sad? I'm not. She goes, you're not? She's like, no, I'm bummed about everything that happened. And Laura's like, oh, I don't even understand what happened. Handsome man wants to make woman bride. What is wrong with that?
And Laura's like, do you want me to tell you? She goes, if you're okay with that. She goes, okay. He came into my room naked. He got into my bed while I was passed out. Like, I was just sleeping. Like, what would have happened if no one had been there, Like, I don't know. I'm still kind of processing it. And Laura goes, oh, poor Luke. I should just have kept him happy. Because if he comes in my cabin, I would be like, hello, yes. I mean, oh
my God. Poor Luke. Poor Luke. Also, by the way, in your theoretical fucked up situation, Laura, where if you say hello, yes, yeah, that's called consent. But Margot wasn't saying hello, yes, and that's the big difference, okay? Oh my God.
Fucking crazy
that she even
town.
said poor Luke. Poor Luke.
What's even crazier, okay, even if you don't pick up on the social cue, let's just say, okay, maybe this girl has some trouble picking up on social cues. They just had a meeting and literally said what happened and consent was violated. And then Margot tells you in her own words, and you still say that? Like you're still dumb enough to say that? What the fuck is wrong with this person? My God.
And then Laura goes, well, it's his fault because he rejected me. And he goes,
yeah, she goes, if he had not done that, I would still be with him. And I said I would make him regret, and it came true. Very big time. It's his karma.
He's not the victim. It's not his karma. He's not the victim.
He didn't get fired for rejecting you. You fucking idiot. My God.
It literally, like, Margot is the victim here, and all she's concerned about is Luke's feelings, and that this wouldn't have happened if Luke had done this, and if Luke had done that, Luke would have been happier. So she goes, oh God, and then he wants to come back for his bags, and we can't be there. We say goodbye. We can't say goodbye. You know,
Margot's like, yeah, I don't really need to say goodbye to him. And then she cries. And Margot's like, what the fuck? How are you the one pouting right now? And Laura's like, well, we all feel bad, but he feels the worst right now. I massage him. I massage him.
Margot tells us, she goes, she's fucked up, I think. I think she just fucked up.
Just the way she delivered that. She goes, yeah, she's
fucked up.
I think she's fucked up.
I actually love that response because I like that Margot was not like, I mean, maybe Laura's right. She was like, no, actually, Laura's really fucked up. Like,
yeah, so like, this girl like literally has problems, I think, you know.
Laura is fucked up. Like, it makes me like very concerned about what her childhood was. So Aisha is now talking to Adam, and
Aisha, who's ironing, by the way. You know, and not Laura. While Laura's over there crying and pouting that she didn't get to like massage somebody goodbye, Aisha is ironing a shirt. So Adam comes in and she's like, so how did you feel about that chat? And he's like, it shouldn't have even come close to that, you know? And she's like, well, exactly. And on the flip side, I've noticed Laura has been pretty intense with you, and I want to make sure that you're feeling okay too. And he's like, yeah, I mean, she thinks I'm playing around, but I guess I need to be more serious when I tell her to leave me alone.
Which he doesn't have to be more serious. He has made it abundantly clear. So Aisha's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, I saw her, and I have your back. So I was like, wow, Aisha is just like, she's killing it. She's killing it with like being a leader right now. So now Margot's wearing a tinfoil hat because, you know, naturally. And so she's wearing a tinfoil hat, and Culver's like, hey, you rock that hat. And Harry's like, that's Margot, tall, blonde, and beautiful. And she's like, oh, stop it. No, literally stop it. I've had a really rough day. I don't need you piling onto it. Thanks.
So then we see Culver trying to be lead deckhand, and it's so funny. So Adam's like, so Culver, what you want to do, man? You're the bosun, baby. Might I suggest, listen, I don't want to boss anybody around, but I suggest your first order of business is going, Hawk! 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 And Culver's like, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. If y'all need anything, you know, I'm open, baby. Okay? So you got a question, you know what, you got concerns, then you just do what you do. That's what you need to do. Guys, you know what you should do? Stay tight. Show must go on. Break a leg. When it's a maybe, eat a Dutch baby. Okay, that's my advice.
All right, guys. All right, Harry, you like clean or something over there, or pick up a rope. And Adam, you go over there and you like wipe a surface or you move a cushion. And I'm gonna go into the kitchen. I'm gonna eat about 5 eggs, maybe a Dutch baby, maybe a different kind of baby. I'm sure there's babies all around the world that could be made into pancakes. And when I come out, we'll reassess. Okay, guys?
And he tells us, I'd love to be bosun one day. You know, it's a great opportunity for me to really step up and do it because I'm in sports. So I can motivate. It's like, okay. I love that everybody who's played football a couple of times is like, I could be CEO. I've played football. Like, wow, congratulations.
Congrats. I'm sure those lacrosse skills will work out great in washing the boat.
Is that his thing?
I think it was, I'm sure it was all of the above. I think, for some reason, I think he was a lacrosse player, but I'm sure he played football too. I know, hot. Yeah. So Zarina is now, I loved this too. This was such a small thing. And it was like, I think it like warmed everyone's heart because I saw a lot of people talking about it on Twitter. Because, I was like on Below Deck Twitter last night for like an hour. So Zarina's she's making chicken soup and also, flapjacks, and she's basically like, what happened was not normal and it's shocking, so I'm making comfort food to make everyone happy because I know everyone needs it, especially Marco. And I was like, this is like literally like warming, like this is just like, that's what you want. And like there was something like, Zarina was not a major player in all this, but like the way she came in to support were just so.
She was a major player, I think. I mean, well, she was in the van being like, no, she's right. You can't do that, And she's telling Adam like, that's not right. You don't have to take this shit from her. And then she's giving her like, you don't need to fucking excuse yourself for being drunk. Like, no one has a right to do anything to you just because you're drunk. I was like, yes. I mean, I've yassed her so many times. I was like, wow, it's
makes up for all the bowls of brown mush.
I literally finished the episode and I was like, I need something brown and brown liquid to eat.
you're like, I'm vegetarian, but I'm gonna eat a tomahawk tonight. But no, what I meant was more like, Aisha and Jason had active roles in this of like reporting and firing, etc. And like Zarina was supporting people, and like the way she did it was just so perfect, like pitch perfect. And like even just the act of making a warm bowl of soup in like a moment like this is so thoughtful and just also the exact right thing to do, I feel.
So, let's see. So Laura and Aisha now. Okay, let's see if we can make this even worse. I can't imagine this could get any worse, right? Surely we're going to have some chicken noodle soup and everything's going to be fine.
Raise your hand, people in the audience, if you were like hiding your head under a pillow during this next scene, because honestly, I was like, I could not believe what I was watching. And it also makes me sad to think that there are many people like Laura in this world who say these things.
So Laura comes in to Aisha and she goes, Aisha, I don't even understand what happened. We don't get to say bye or nothing? And she makes cry face. And Aisha goes, no, I'm sorry. And she goes, but was it that bad? And she goes, he crossed the line and that's what would happen on any boat. You know that, right?
And Laura's like, he's dead serious? I mean, fuck. That's a shock for me because I didn't know it was that bad yesterday. She goes, yeah, you can't ever cross that line, so yeah. And Laura's like, oh. I'm like, Captain Jason should give him a chance, give him a warning, something. But to fire is not fair. It's not deserved. And I don't agree with it. Well, you're not the captain of any ship. Like,
she
good luck
to
little, Yeah, she does. Good luck to the employees of her alleged restaurant that she had in Spain.
One table. I'm starting to understand the name of that restaurant. So Margot comes to laundry where Laura irons, and Laura's like, Margot, did you hear me? And she goes, what's wrong? And she's like, I don't think it's fair anyways. I feel sorry for you, but I just think it could be warning. I don't think it's like, I don't know. I'm sad. And I think he just meant his joke. Like, he's a funny guy. I don't think he meant bad. Like, he wouldn't rape you or anything. What do you think fucking somebody while they're passed out drunk is?
And she's saying this to Margot. Like, now, potentially Margot could hear this, and it undoes all of the support and bolstering that she's received. And now Margot is thinking like it's her fault. It's her fault that someone got fired. She shouldn't have complained. She shouldn't have been flirty. I like the audacity of Laura to say this specifically to Margot. It's bad enough just to say it, but to say it also to the person who was the victim here. And Laura's like, he's a sexual person. I'm a sexual person. You're a sexual person. We were joking. That thing was probably like, ha, 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 ha. We all drunk right now. I'm like, Margot's like, I don't know about that.
And Laura's like, well, it's not as if you said no to him the whole night and he didn't welcome coming to you. He felt welcome coming there. Okay.
So,
just get her off.
So Margot let her on. That's what she's basically saying.
Yes. So Margot's like, I don't think so, though, because Aisha said don't go in there and don't go in there over and over. And she said I'm really drunk and passed out, so I'm not really sure. So she just leaves like, what the fuck? And thankfully, Aisha passes her. And she's like, so she's mad at me now? Like, what the hell? And she's like, I just told her what happened, and she didn't know. And the first thing she said was like, oh, well, he should have hooked up with me and come into my bed because I would have welcomed that. And then she said he's just a sexual person and was just joking and that none of this was fair. Like, I don't even know what to say to that.
Aisha's like, this is so inappropriate.
Aisha's face,
horrified.
Aisha's face was like, oh. Her jaw was completely on the ground. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Seriously.
Oh my God.
So then we go back to Culver trying to figure out the deck. He's like, well, we could put a chamois there, or maybe not there, or should we put a mop there? And Adam and Harry are like, Adam's like, up till now I was looking to Culver as the most experienced person on deck, but looking like a bit like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, okay? It doesn't put me at ease. I'm like, okay, Adam, you're not putting me at ease. Let's not forget, you still can't swim, okay? This is a good episode for you, okay? But generally speaking, you're a terrible deckhand. So let's calm down.
So then Marge goes into the galley and sees leftover wine and drinks it, which is also a sign of things to come, you know,
makes me
we're
nervous.
like, uh-oh. So she's like, I don't know if this is going to make me more emotional. Probably. Who cares? And she drinks it. So then Aisha goes to the captain and she's like, yeah, now I think you should have a personal chat with Laura because Margot just came to me upset. And instead of asking if she's okay, she had the audacity to say, I wish he'd come to my bed. And now she's making Margot feel like shit about having a problem with it. And Jason's like, after what I just said?
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me? What about me says no authority? Am I wearing a kimono jumpsuit? Like, what the fuck?
So Aisha's like, and she's like, and by the way, Laura with Adam, like, he's not comfortable with her, and she was very inappropriate with him, and borderline sexual harassment. I'm like, I think it was not borderline. I think it was full on. And he's like, I feel like I've told her no, and she's not listening. So Jason is not happy. Meanwhile, cut to Culver eating Zarina's ribs. Like, get back to business down in the kitchen.
He's concentrating on getting the protein in while the guys are working, you know, so he's already like slacking off because he has people under him. And so Serena's like, you've been a person before, have you? Big, strong rib eater. And he's like, yeah, I have, basically, a lead deckhand, which is kind of the same thing on different sized boats. But you know what? No matter the situation, I'm going to be a leader. Just caught a ball that was coming towards me. I'm in
a little net. Actually, you know, I learned how to play lacrosse because my mom would attach a Dutch baby to a stick, and I just go run around in the woods catching pine cones. So Jason's called up Margot and asks if Margot's upset, and she's saying that she felt like what Laura said was really insensitive, and Jason's like, to actually come back and say that to you, of all people, there are no words for it. You heard what I said down there. It was wrong. We're a team. We're moving forward. I'll take care of the rest. So at this point, I'm thinking, oh, he's going to chew out Laura. That's where I think he's like, Laura's going to get like a pretty bad reprimand.
Right, because it sounds insane. It sounds insane to like you can't fire two people. Like, right. You have to do a charter, right?
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Hi, I'm Lindsey Graham, the host of Wondery's podcast, American Scandal. We bring to life some of the biggest controversies in U.S. history, events that have shaped who we are as a country and that continue to define the American experience. American Scandal tells marquee stories about American politics, like the break-in at the Watergate Hotel, an event that led to the downfall of a president and raised questions about the future of American democracy. We go behind the scenes looking at devastating financial crimes, like the fraud committed at Enron and Bernie Madoff's Ponzi scheme. And we tell stories of complicated public figures like Edward Snowden and Monica Lewinsky, People who found themselves thrust into the spotlight and who spurred debates about the future of the country. Follow American Scandal wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen ad-free on the Amazon Music or Wondery app.
So now Adam is called to the bridge, and he asks about Laura, and he's like, yeah, you know, she's in my space, like hanging on me, and I don't want to be rude and make her feel embarrassed, so I say no in a playful manner, but she won't stop. And he's like, all right, we're going to make it good. So now you're like, okay, she's really going to get yelled at.
Yeah. And then meanwhile, we just have another check-in on Culver doing more like quasi-bosun stuff. And
he's
Harry's
like, so you guys going to do this thing? Yeah, that thing. Do it for the what do you call the floor? The teak?
You know, when you mop the floor with a lacrosse stick, but the lacrosse stick sort of has like a wig on, the mop.
Yeah, they're like, why are you cleaning the window with a rib bone?
Harry goes, Culver lacks the key part of being a leader, which is initiative. I'm like, yes, because we definitely saw last season Culver got really lazy. But that being said, he's also been a bosun for about 25 minutes right now. So I think we could like give him a little grace period to step into the role.
Yeah, but at the same time, he's been bosun for 25 minutes and already had ribs. You know what I mean?
That's true too. So Jason now calls Laura to the bridge. I was like, oh, she's gonna get a real talking to, you know. And Jason's like, a couple things I need to talk to you about. Adam feels uncomfortable with some moments out and about, and he's tried to say no, and you've not listened to him and his boundaries to be set. And the second thing is, after my multiple speeches with the crew about boundaries and respect, did you not go into Margot and say, poor Luke, I wish you would come see me? And Laura was like, actually, no, I went to her and I said, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Because I'm very awake right now, and I was never tired yesterday. That's what I said.
All I've said to people on board is I'm not tired today. I feel so good today. Did you just burp?
Not been drinking beer. So Jason's like, she's not okay, and that's not okay, and they feel like there's now a big disconnect now, and that's not what I want for part of my team. You disrespected exactly what I actually set out to do. And she's like, no, I understand what you said, and I respect it. Massage time? You want massage, Captain Jason?
I massage you. And he's like, you will not massage me. And listen, for you to go to Margot, that shows that you have no respect for Margot. And I'm trying to move forward as a team and trying to get behind this, you know, and you've brought it straight back up. So that said, I'm going to terminate your employment today. And she's like, wow. And I just wrote, ha, ha, ha. Like I was laughing and cheering. This episode really gave so many different emotions. I was like, yes!
I was like cheering, but I was also like oddly choked up because I think I was like really caught up. I was caught up by like the strong leadership. I was caught up by the justice of it all, people doing the right thing and people having people's backs and like really making sure like there's no room for someone to make someone feel unsafe. It made me oddly very emotional.
There's also a part of this after watching Below Deck for years, you know, and so hundreds and hundreds of episodes of this show, there've got to be now, right? To see everything that has been put up with, I think it makes you feel like everything that has been put up with just as a people, like as us, you know what I mean? You're like,
yeah,
look at this shit that was just considered normal for so long. It's sad. It's fucking depressing. Like, it really is. I mean, there's guilt. Like, I felt guilt as a viewer. I was like, look at this shit that has just gone by. Not that, look, like we haven't ever said anything about it or anything like that. I'm not trying to make it about us. I just mean, as an audience member, it's like, wow, this shit is really bad. And seeing people stick up for it and actually treating it as the wrong that it is extremely refreshing, and it's also a little guilt-inducing, I have to say.
Yeah, well, I think it's really I think that Aisha and Captain Jason, as has been said a million times on Twitter, if you go look, that they really showed what it's like to be true leaders. They stepped into action. They recognized situations. They took actions, and they did something about it, and it made me really happy. I was also, this is a reaction that we similarly had on Below Deck Adventure when Captain Carey, there was that asshole on there, and Captain Carey just kicked that guy off. He said nope, and it was just that clarity of action that was very comforting, I feel like. And but again, it's like it was a bittersweet moment, because for a moment like this, there just are thousands where there is no Aisha, and there is no Captain Jason, and there are no producers, and there are no cameras, and there's just victims. And so I think that made me sad too, to reflect on.
And there are so many Lauras. And there are so many
Lauras.
people who, after something like this, say things like Laura does,
Yeah.
And you hear that all the time. So to hear people strongly saying, no, that's wrong, and shut the fuck up with that, get the fuck off my boat, is extremely refreshing.
With no ambiguity about it. Like, this is a black and white situation. This is not a gray area. There's no both sides on this one.
Right.
It's right.
This
and
is
it's
not
wrong.
you let him on by being drunk. That's not how the world works. And it's nice. It's nice to see it.
It is.
Said.
Yeah.
So I was cheering. I loved it. And so now they're like, well, we let Laura go. So
But now Laura.
Anybody else we should fire,
Now Laura, she doesn't leave in the same swift manner as Luke. She's like, but I don't think I did something wrong that I need to be terminated. I mean, can you give me a warning? Should I do can-can dance for redemption? And he's like, nope, I can't go on with you as part of the team in this environment. It's that I'm trying to set. She goes, but I think it's a mistake. And he just goes, okay. Glad you think it's a mistake. Doesn't really matter what you think.
Yeah, I think changing the recipe of Girl Scout peanut butter cookies was a mistake. But guess what? They still sell that shit in front of grocery stores every season.
I mean, I have a lot of thoughts on mistakes in this world, and no one gives a shit.
No one cares. Bye.
No one cares about my thoughts on mistakes.
Bye now. So she passes by Aisha and says nothing and starts packing her stuff. And Jason calls up Aisha and he's like, let that idiot go. Okay. So now what should we do? She goes, oh, so she's packing up. Well, that's right, Cole. So
I'm sorry, man. I just want to say also, let's also put I just want to also mention the sacrifice that this is, that knowing that there are someone down on the deck and now there'll be someone down on the interior, and knowing that this could really fuck up their next charter or two, and that this could be hard on everyone, but that sacrifice is still worth it. And there still was not even a question, like that it's the safety of one person is worth it for the discomfort and the stress that everyone will have to deal with as a whole. Like, that was a deeply reassuring moment too. Sorry, just wanted to put that out there too.
So Aisha is telling Margot that Laura's out, and she's like, we just want you to feel safe. You've done nothing wrong, and she's an asshole for making you try and feel like shit. And Margot's like, wow, it feels like a weight's been lifted, like 100 pounds, just lost immediately. And so Serena comes up, and they all basically celebrate. And Serena's like, Serena's like, what's up? Yeah. And she goes, so are you getting a new stew? And she goes, yes, but not yet. And Serena just starts cracking up. She's like, oh.
She's like, oh, this is fuck. This is great. So Jason then checks on Laura, because she's packing, and she's like, I don't deserve this. And he's like, all right. Can I grab you a bag? She goes, thank you. She's like, I don't deserve this, but I will have you still carry out my bag. So Aisha now tells the deckhands that Laura's been let go. And Adam is like, well, I feel bad. I would hate to think that I aided her in getting fired. That made my heart drop. But to be honest with you, I thought I was really nice to her. But it's like, that's what sucks with sexual harassment, because like, you wind up feeling bad for your harasser when they have no concern about you and how they may be creating a distraction for you. And now you can't do your job in a safe or focused way.
So Adam's like, yeah, even when she said, can I say goodbye to Luke? I was like, wow, that's bad. I know that's bad. And Ace is like, yeah, guys, we're a team and we need to work together as a team. And if there's shit like that happening, it's best that we just nip it in the bud right now. And Culver's like, so you guys are going to go down a girl? Jesus Christ. Are you serious? I want to need some protein for this. Really, I'm going to need some protein.
Another egg. So Laura gets in the van, and the good news is that at long last, Laura finally gets some perspective and learns her lesson. Just kidding. Of course she doesn't. She's like, I think he's making a big mistake, and there's no real reason. Give me a warning. Talk to people. Sit down. Don't just fire. It's not good leadership. That's zero ship. All right. Bye.
No,
see you
that's
later.
your current job. Zero ship. Bye, asshole. Bye.
Yes.
And what you said about karma before, let's hope that there isn't any.
Yeah. And then she just drives off, and like everyone's on the boat is like, wait, is that Laura? And they're kind of like waving like, bye, I guess. Oh, wow. And Harry goes, this industry is quick. This isn't interesting. Like this morning, I was like, hello, good morning. And now there she is, bang gone.
God, what an ass. So you were looking at Twitter and stuff. Did you see how she reacted? Like, did she say anything? Because I'm sure people were coming for her like crazy.
I didn't see anything.
Luke's reaction or her reaction?
I went to Luke's Instagram, and Luke he had posted something 2 days ago. And the thing, I don't remember what it was, but the thing 2 days ago, he's like in Dubai, and he was just like, all his comments are disabled. And the thing he had posted was something sort of like, it was like, people think they know you, or they don't, something like that. And I was like, wow, you're so fucking tone deaf, because you know what's what episode's about to drop on the show. And you're putting up this defiant thing instead of like being ready with like even some sort of bullshit, like working on myself, thoughts, and
totally, yeah,
love and light, like giving up drinking. Like he doesn't even have some sort of like stupid thing like that up. He just has like a defiant post from 2 days ago. So I was like, this guy's a piece of trash. But also, so Laura's just been fired. So you watch this on Peacock. I watch this on YouTube TV. So this has been incredibly intense and emotional, and really going through a lot of stuff watching this. And there are a lot of people who are probably deeply triggered by this entire episode. And so we go to commercial. Laura's gone off. We go to commercial. It's like, hey, what's going on? Please welcome Alex Newell and Sandra Bernard. Icons only, icons only, icons only. And I was like, oh my God. Like, if there's any evidence that they're not watching Below Deck on Watch What Happens Live, it was this, because it was totally such a lack of like acknowledgement of like the heavy ass shit the audience has just been watching. I was like, oh God, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah. Oh my God. That's funny though, because that is so that show. Hey, Sandra Bullock just had a Home Goods closed down in her neighborhood or something. I saw that. Of course, Laura's dressed all cute in this little like pink thing. It's like, goodbye, like waving out the window, all happy. And they're like, wow. It's quick in this industry, eh? Harry's like, I just saw her this morning, and now she's just gone. It's crazy. It's like, yep.
That's how.
So now
works.
another crew meeting, and Jason's like, okay, well, we've fired somebody else. So, we all understand boundaries and empathy? Have we got that down? Great. All right.
He's like, all right. So we have a new, officer coming in, second officer coming in, but this is gonna put some stress on the interior, and we're gonna work on a replacement. So Clover's like, well, I think I did a good job while I had to step in, but naturally you feel some sort of way when you don't get that promotion. I'm like, it was an hour, Clover.
Yeah, it was an hour, Clove. Okay, you had ribs. That was your prize.
Okay.
So Serena is giving Margot some flapjack, and Harry comes in and he checks on her. And he's like, are you okay? And she said, yeah, it was a hard day. And he goes, yeah, it would have been. She goes, what does that mean? He goes, it would have been if I were you. She goes, oh, okay. Yeah. I get it.
So then the episode comes to an end with Aisha checking with Margot at the end of the day in her room. And Margot's like, you guys, I have never felt so much love and support. And I'm serious. This day has been so terrible. But at the same time, I've never felt so at home and safe. And they hug. And Aisha's like, no one fucks with our girl. And Margot just like thanks her for checking on her. And like she just feels like she's had a lot of love in her life. But unlike anything like this ever before.
It was really, really good. And overall, I just have to say bravo, well done for once on this subject.
Yes.
Because there have been so many dropped balls on this subject over the years. I mean, there have just been so many mangled seasons where these guys have gotten away with this shit. And it is so great to love Bravo so much and see Bravo do
I mean,
such a good job. I mean, it was well done, We've lived through so many seasons of misogyny of like, I don't know, for example, like remember there was that episode please.
where Joao called Hannah the C word.
Speaking of,
you know what's so funny? The mid-season trailer came out.
So this mid-season trailer. Okay, so now look. All of this stuff that we've just talked about aside, I of course ended the episode like, okay, well, this is this is Below Deck, right? So they set it up with terrible people. The terrible people get fired. A lot of times what happens is the terrible people get fired, and then the show kind of falters because there's no villain, right? Now with Luke, it's like get him off. With Laura, I was like, wow, what are they going to do without Laura? She's been the villain of this entire thing. Like she's really made the season go, I think, her villainy. And I was worried as a viewer. I didn't want them to keep Laura. Don't anybody get mad at me. I'm not saying like Laura didn't deserve it or anything like that. But as a viewer, I was like, oh God, I hope it's not boring now, right?
It's like after they got rid of
not going to be boring. Oh my God. The season trailer looks so good. I mean,
was like,
my God.
I was like, how could you do this to me? ? We just got through those 2 hours. I was like, whew, I can exhale. And then I saw that trailer and I fully tensed up again. I was like, oh my God. And Joao is back. And Joao's second season, he was like, I'm nice, Joao. I'm from Zim. In this first season, I was terrible. But second season, I'm like nice, sensitive Joao. But he looks like he's back to being a full-on asshole. And I was like, I actually texted you in the middle of the night. I texted you at like 2 a.m. and I was like, this trailer, it's going to destroy me. Oh my God, this season. Why are they burning through it so quickly? It is so good. I mean, not that like it's good to watch what just happened, although I think in some ways it was good to see it. But overall, as a season, I was like, oh my God, I can't even imagine what the next half is going to be like.
It's going to be fucking insane. I mean, they really were like, okay, next round, let's do this. And they're going for it. So we'll be here with the rest of the season as it comes, so keep joining us. Thank you for joining us for this lovely two-parter. I mean, they're all two-parters right now for Below Deck, aren't they? Because they're double episodes a week. Tons of other stuff going on. Check out our Crappy Hour if you want. That's our new live Instagram show every other Monday. You can see that on our Instagram. We'll try to figure out the audio for that to start posting on audio. If you want videos, Crappins on demand on Patreon. Our bonus episodes this week This week and last week was 2 parts of Big Brother cast preview. So we've got a ton of stuff going on. Dwell Hello comes out next week. We've moved it to next week. So that's our House Hunters recap. So just be with us 24 hours a day. We love you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors.
Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
She's not just a Sheila, she's a Daniela. Itchels. Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas.
Hava Nagila Weber.
Jamie, she has no last namey.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
She's always supplying, it's Kelly Ryan.
Megan Berg, you can't have a burger without the Berg.
You're never alone with Lacey Monteleone.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
There ain't no problem that Sarah Salvia can't solve ya.
Ruru LaRue.
The Bay Area Betches, Betches.
And our super premium sponsors, the incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
She's not harsh. She's Jill Hirsch.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva. Erica, 500 Days of Summers.
She's the queen bee. It's Sarah Lemke. We love him madly. It's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender.
My favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
We want to hang with Liz Lang.
Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
Hey Prime members, you can listen to Watch What Crappens ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the Amazon Music app today. Or you can listen ad-free with Wondery Plus in Apple Podcasts. Before you go, tell us about yourself by completing a short survey